How's it going, guys? This is Zachimus Prime, aka Zachimus Prime, bringing you another Transformers review. And today we're going to be reviewing the Studio Series Brawl. And, gosh, there's some things I really like about this figure, and there's some things that I really don't like about this figure. And, I'm not even sure where to begin. So I picked up the Leader Class Brawl back in 2007 when the movie first came out. I bought him, I don't know. I don't remember where I was when I bought him. I think I might have been in South Carolina when I bought him. Not that that's significant to anybody around here, but anyway. The Leader Class Brawl, for me, has always been the definitive Brawl. Like, I know he doesn't look exactly like he looked in the movie, but he looks really good, and he's like big and chunky and like bulky and like armored and looks scary and feels great and transforms wonderfully, and I love everything about it. And this guy is not some of those things. He's kind of gangly looking. He's got, like, I mean, of course the figures are going to have kibble, but he's got kibble in some places that I think he shouldn't, like on the arms. I don't like how his weapons don't integrate very well, and I don't know. I don't hate this figure, but I don't love it. And so let's get into it. So with the Leader Class figure, they basically took the whole turret and still sit on his back, kind of gave him this like turtley appearance, and they have not done that on this figure. It makes him look much more true to how he looked in the show, in the movie, sorry. But more specifically, it makes him much more true to how, you know, he was supposed to look like in the concept arts and whatnot. And so by that regard, like, you got to look at this and be like, yeah, they did a good job, you know, because it looks really good. I understand that he scales well, even though I feel that he should be bigger than some of the other figures. I would have loved to see this guy come out as a Studio Series Leader Class figure. I know that Blackout is supposed to be the biggest Decepticon from that line, but I kind of feel like Brawl should have been. But I don't know, because I mean, Blackout turns into like a helicopter, and don't get me wrong, as a vehicle, the helicopter is bigger than an Abrams tank. But you also got to keep in mind that, you know, a helicopter is basically hollow, whereas an Abrams tank is basically solid. So much more mass. He should have been a bigger figure. I don't know. That's just me. It's apparently, I mean, the Studio Series has done this big thing to make sure that their figures all scale well with each other, and that's apparently how the scale is supposed to go. For accessories, he does come with his weapons, which are removable. You can take that off. It does attach with, like, I mean, this little slot is squared off on the sides, but it is a 5mm peg, and you can fit it into his hand if you want to do that, but it looks really dumb. It's not how it's supposed to look at all. You can also take this tiny little gun up here off. And that is also a 5mm peg, which you can also stick in his hand if you wanted to have like the tiniest, most awkward looking pea shooter ever. Pew pew, pew pew. This little part does wiggle a little bit for no discernible reason, because it doesn't actually fold up. No, it does not actually fold up. You could unclip it maybe and clip it on backwards like you're pretending it's folded up. No, it doesn't even want to do that. I don't know. It wiggles for no discernible reason. But whatevs. He also comes with this other gun, which doesn't do anything at all, except looks like a gun. Gosh, like, so far I'm listening to myself and I'm like hearing, wow, this is a really negative review. And how can I give a negative review to a character that I like so much? But I don't know. Gosh, that made it sound even worse. This figure is not bad. That's what I'm getting at. This figure is not a bad figure. He just didn't meet my expectations. I feel like half of the, you know, the Star Wars fanboys when Episode 8 came out, which, by the way, personally, I loved Episode 8, but I know that a lot of people, it didn't meet their expectations, so they're like super bummed out about it. And so I'm kind of bummed out about this figure because it didn't meet my unreasonable expectations. And yeah, in terms of posability, his head, it turns, but not really anything else. Yeah, little bit, yeah. His arm, he's got a joint here that goes out. Do a full tree pose. A joint here that goes around. Avoid this doohickey here. No biceps. Well, he actually does have a little bit of a bicep swivel. He's got a joint here for transformation, but that's for transformation. He's got an elbow joint, no wrist, whole thingamajig here. You got this is on a ball joint, but it really just kind of swivels around. No waist joint whatsoever, but I mean, you know, why start now? We've never had a Brawl with a waist joint. His legs will go forward that much, backwards that much, outwards full Van Damme. He's got an upper just above the knee swivel, and a little less than 90 degrees in the bend of the knee. He does have ankle. Okay, so his leg transforms for turning into a tank, and if you unpeg it from the kibble here, you can get a little bit of forward and back tilt on there, but it's really just for transformation. It's not for anything else. There's no, otherwise that is, when it's pegged in, it's utterly immobile. And he's got like a doohickey that hangs down under here. This is actually, of all the changes that I wish they'd made to this figure, this is the biggest one that I wish they would have made. I wish they would have done something about that. Because I don't like it a lot. But anyhow, to get him transformed up, first we're going to do is we're going to take off his guns. We're going to fold these around and clip those in right there. And this whole part here is going to fold around and just kind of face the same way as the other guns here. We're going to fold this part down like that. We're going to pull on this whole panel. That whole panel is going to come up. Now these are going to straighten up so that they're parallel. And that will allow us to pull on these. There's a peg right here that pegs in behind this tread. See that? And that keeps everything locked in. We're going to unpeg those. That will keep everything not locked in, as you can imagine. So now with that being the case, we can flip this around. We can take this panel right here and we can fold that up. That's going to form the front of the tank. We're going to take the sides of his chest and fold them in like so. Actually, no, we're going to take his head and fold it in, and then take the sides and fold those in. And these little tabs right here that were on the sides of the chest are going to fit into these slots. There's 2 slots inside here, like that. These rakes are going to come up and they're going to kind of peg into place, not really peg into place. They're going to kind of sit into place though. All right, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. These arms, really what you got to do is you got to fold them up until they look like tank arms, until they look like a tank turret. So you're going to take this part and you're going to face it towards the back like this, and then you're going to bring it up so that you're kind of turning them both parallel. I don't know if you noticed that. So here he was in his robot mode configuration, right? I bring that up and I bring it like this. And while I'm bringing that, you'll see that I'm actually turning it at this joint and at this joint simultaneously. Bring that up and around. And then you're going to bend it right here. This is that transformation joint I was telling you about. At the same time, you're going to fold this out. So once you get those turret parts folded out, let's kind of bring this back into place. There's a big old gap back here. And this upper turret is going to kind of slide into that. Then we're going to tab this together right here. You'll see there's a tab back here. There's also a tab up front. That's tabbed together. We're going to take these, rotate them at the above the knee joint, unpeg that from there, bring that around so it clicks into place. Unpeg, bring it around. There's a tab on this foot that folds out. That's going to allow you to tab his feet together. And then we're going to take this part and extend that out and bring it around, and it's going to just kind of clip into place. Again, bring this out all the way, clip that into place. And there he is in his tank mode. And again, I wish this turret turned. This turret does turn if you untab it ever so slightly. There's a tab under here. Well, actually, no, there's not. Yeah, there's tabs under here. It's supposed to all tab in and it stays fairly rigid. But if you untab it, you can turn this around a little bit. So that's like a little bit of posability you can get, a little bit of playability you can get out of this mode. And it'll even turn all the way around. Woo! But it's supposed to be tabbed in. Don't ever forget that. That you could have played with it, but Hasbro said no, tab it in. These little things are constantly at an angle. I am used to them being parallel because that's how they are in the leader class toy. That's how I like them. But yeah, so you just kind of like, I don't know. Because they're angled out like that, I also like to angle them up so that I can kind of pretend that it doesn't look as bad as it does. These will plug into the top. There's some holes up here. And it looks ridiculous, as all of these Studio Series figures have been. The ones that have got storage mode, they always look ridiculous. Well, not always, always, always. Stinger looks okay. Megatron doesn't have an extra part. Blackout looks good. Grimlock is integrated. I don't know, I'm just trying to go over it in my head, but I know that Bumblebee's gun storage looks dumb, and I know that I've seen the pictures for the upcoming Ironhide. His gun storage looks dumb. Ratchet's gun storage looked dumb. Crowbar's gun storage looked dumb. Who else? Who am I missing? I don't know. A lot of them look dumb. I continue to feel like there could have been something they could do, especially since there's a huge hollow like right in here. Like you could fit like, you know, like a head of a previously reviewed figure in here. Like literally you can, you know, it fits in there actually quite nicely. Wow, it's almost like it was made to fit that. I discovered this right now, guys. But I mean, there's just a ton of space in there. They could have folded this up somehow and crammed them in there. Like there's something that they could have done about that. Basically, I'll say a figure is a perfect figure, and granted, I'm stupid, so, but I'll say a figure is a perfect figure if I look at it and there's nothing on it that I think, oh gosh, they should have done this, or oh gosh, they could have done this, or oh gosh, why didn't they do it like this? This figure is definitely not a perfect figure because, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff on there like, oh gosh, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they make it so that his gun's stored in the big gap? You know, why didn't they make it so his turret rotated? Why didn't they make it so that, you know, his kibble was done differently, you know? I don't know. It's not a terrible figure. but it's not a great figure either. I think the Megatron from this line is a better bang for your buck. But if you're trying to complete like all the like movie 1 figures, I guess that's probably never going to happen because they're not going to make another Megatron that's a different mold. I don't know. Maybe you're just SOL guys. Sorry. Anyhow, this has been a review of the Studio Series Brawl. And thanks everybody for watching. You guys are all great. And I will catch you around. Have a wonderful day. See ya.